The road to a repeat begins against Atlanta. And you know what? It's going to end.
There's going to be a roadblock.
It's going to end Atlanta. And the Eagles are going to be hoisting the Lombardi Trophy for a second consecutive year. Falcons Fury is here. I am Adrian Fegcu. You are behind enemy lines, my friend.
Feels great. This is where I'm most comfortable. I'm most comfortable behind enemy lines.
All right, let's get into this game pretty much right away.
Let's do it.
And let's talk pass offense versus pass defense. Pass offense of the Eagles against pass defense of the Falcons. And Nick Foles has been named your starter.
Old Nicky.
Yeah, so do you feel a lot more comfortable with the fact that Nick Foles is starting over Wentz, or would you have rather had Wentz considering it was the ACL injury and coming back from that?
I think it would have been the same outcome either way. I don't think it would have had too much of an effect, and I'll tell you why. So coming off of that injury, I don't think Carson Wentz would have the mobility, maybe not the trust, to be able to come back. I think that might be why they held him out. And so the mentality might be, if whoever we put out there, we want him to be able to go 100%. And, Nick Foles, listen, Super Bowl MVP. Matt Ryan didn't do that. Cam Newton didn't do that, so he has it in him. Now, he didn't look great in the preseason, so I hope that Nick Foles shows up. But as far as the Eagles' pass offense, I'm not to disrespect you guys, but I'm not too concerned in this game.
All right, so here were the 2017 stats. Passer rating of the Eagles, 97.6, 7 out of 32 teams. Yards per game, it was 234. I don't really look at the yards per game per se when it comes to like even rushing, but I got the nuggets down because this is what I do for my preview. So I'm just reading from my preview right here. 91.9 passer rating allowed by Atlanta, 21 out of 32, and 214 yards per game allowed. That was 12 out of 32. So we talk about Nick Foles and we talk about the variance and how he can get streaky, how he can get hot, how he can be cold. Well, here's the numbers. Here it is right here. Ugly sometimes, 18 starts, including the playoffs, with a quarterback rating greater than 100. 16 starts, quarterback rating less than 80. And he's only got 8 starts in between. So you can see just how hot and cold he can be. His success, to me, is dictated by his offensive line. It allowed just 2 sacks during the postseason run last year, but 8 sacks in the 2 halves that he played. So if you don't keep him upright, which is going to be what you guys are going to want to do with Tack McKinnon, Vic Beasley and company, if you don't keep him upright and he's got to go and get in backpedaling mode and he's thinking and he's playing without thinking and all that, he's thinking when he's out there, I should say, that's when you get the bad Nick Foles, and that's what you're going to have to do on Thursday night.
Well, I'm going to tell you where the problem for us comes in. When we played you guys in the playoffs last year, we got the bad Nick Foles. I mean, we did. The first play of the game.
2.5 quarters, you got the bad Nick Foles, and then the RPOs came out.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, now, listen, I'm not to harp on old things, but listen, we should have had an interception at the end of the first half, and it turned into a field goal for you guys.
Oh, okay, yeah. By the way, I meant to do this a lot sooner, so I've got the highlights up from this game.
Oh, if we can find that, I mean.
Yeah. So I'm going to play this all the way through. I got 17 minutes worth of that because you know what? I thought you were going to be on audio, so I came prepared with highlights.
Yeah, my apologies. All right.
So by the way, you want to talk about the bad Nick Foles? Check out this first throw of the game. This is. The
bad I was about to mention this.
Look at this stuff.
You guys got a penalty on this too. I mean, you guys, you went all out. You paid these guys and everything, but no, that's a hard thing for the DB when it's underthrown like that because he doesn't see it coming. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. So.
Yeah. So so we're just gonna kind of play this on top. So all right.
Yes.
So Jason Peters is gonna be coming back from his ACL injury. Thank God, because Halapoulivaati Vaitai looked like a turnstile.
Oh man, I was hoping that man would start so bad. I mean, Michael Kendricks just went to federal prison for throwing all his terrible play and how to expose him out there, and he's not starting. So that's a letdown for the Falcons.
Yep. So you got him. He's going to be going up against. I think it's good. Are you guys playing Beasley on the right side, or is it's McKinley, right?
Yeah. So usually, I mean, most last year, Attack played on the right, Vic on the left. So yeah, that is what it should be. Yeah.
Yeah, so you got Vic, and he's going to be going off against Lane Johnson. What happened with Vic Beasley last year? He went from 15.5 sacks to 5.
I mean, point blank period, he was overrated in 2016. Now he was good. He did what he was good at, which he's good at, speed rushing. And I mean, when you get ahead like we did in 2016, scoring big, you pass more. So obviously you'll have more opportunities, and sacks get inflated that way. So, and he didn't really develop too much the year after that. I guess he got complacent. So he doesn't really have any hand moves. It's mostly speed with him, and he's not really a power guy either, so he can't work off of that too much. So hopefully he's improved this offseason. We'll see.
Yeah, and the thing about him is you talked about the speed rush that he has, and he had that. That's why he had the 15.5 sacks. But then you start to counter, and the tape is out, and you start figuring out how to play him. So you need to add the second and third pass rush move to the arsenal. By the way, you're seeing the video okay, right?
Yeah, that's all right. It's good.
All right, cool. You're not seeing any like tabs open?
No.
Okay, all right, because I wasn't sure how this was going to look on your side. All right, because I got my notes up, and yeah, just didn't want that showing up.
Perfect.
All right, word. All right, so the other thing we're going to see, the run pass options again, and you know we talked about the bad Nick Foles. We saw the bad Nick Foles for 2.5 quarters in that divisional playoff game because we didn't see the run pass options, and then he got into the rhythm like the second half of the third quarter it was, and they got into field goal range twice, and that's how they won the game. So when he has to digest the defenses, work through the progressions, navigate through the trash in the pocket, that's when we get the backpedaling, lollipop throwing Nick Foles that we saw the first play of the game.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I mean, just like any quarterback, all right, Tom Brady, Matt Ryan, maybe not so much Aaron Rodgers because that man's just a freak. If you pressure him, things like that happen, all right? And that's where your offensive line comes in play, and that's where you have to give credit to Howie Roseman and how he built this Eagles team.
Yeah. Now, I understand why you're confident because you got Desmond.
Oh, whoa. Now, hold on now. We might win this one, but I don't know how.
No, I mean confident in this facet, the pass defense.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah. Right. All right. So I understand where you're coming from there because Robert Alford had a great 2017. I thought he made big strides last year. And then Desmond Trufant, one of the best corners in the game. And without Alshon Jeffrey, I mean, I don't see how the Eagles receivers on the outside are going to do anything. But that's where you look at the tight end spot. And I'm thinking we're going to see a lot of 12 personnel, 2 tight end sets out there. Zach Ertz, the rookie Dallas Goedert, comes off a strong preseason. So I'm looking at those 2 to be major contributors. And I'm looking at Nelson Aguilar in the slot against is it going to be Brian Poole? That was their slot guy last year.
Yep. Yeah, they're keeping him there. Isaiah Oliver, we drafted him in the second round.
Yeah, I love that kid. I like him, by the way.
Yeah, me too. I think he was a first-round talent. Hasn't had a great preseason, but listen, he's a depth piece. I think we're either going to let Rocky or Robert Alford, as you know him, probably going to let him go, or maybe we'll let Brian Poole go, one of those guys, and he'll step in. So that was just a luxury pick for us. So, yes, Brian Poole will be in the slot.
Yeah, so the thing that happened in last year's game as well, early on the Eagles really attacked the perimeters and the edges in the run game and the pass game. But, again, going back to the late in the third quarter in the RPOs, they started attacking the middle of the field. And I think that's what they're going to do with Ertz and Goddard. They're going to attack the seams, attack the middle of the field. Not that they're going to have, not that they're going to do this on a consistent basis because the Falcons have some good linebackers. I love Deion Jones. And I like, some of their guys there. But I think this is what they're going to do, and I think they can do it somewhat successfully.
Yeah, I mean, I'd agree with that because Zach Ertz, listen, he's a top 3 tight end. I'd put him right there up with Travis Kelce, probably right behind him. And now here's the key for the Falcons. Keanu Neal against the Patriots, while we lost that game pretty badly, he did a respectable job against what I'd call the best tight end maybe of all time, but definitely playing the game today. So he did a great job against him.
Yeah, Keanu Neal's a good one too. So
in man coverage, I think we'll be all right. Mm-hmm. But in zone coverage is when you guys can expose us, and is when Doug Peterson can draw out some plays for old Nicky.
Yep. And then Darren Sproles, maybe he'll be a contributor as well. They put him in the slot. I mean, this is where they're gonna try and expose Atlanta. I don't really.
I gotta be honest.
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off there. We shut down Alvin Kamara pretty well, probably better than any other team, just because we match up so well with pass catching running backs and tight ends. Because we do have a Keanu Neal, and we do have a Deion Jones. Deion Jones had the best pass grade and pass defense at the linebacker position. So if I'm the Eagles, I'm sticking to what I know and what I'm good at, and that's the power game. You can run on the Falcons. You can run on us. So that's what I would do.
But what I'm talking about, not coming out of the backfield, I'm talking about slot snaps, because this is what he does. This is how he's been a contributor in the past. So maybe that's another way that they can maybe exploit. We'll see. All right, we're going to move on. Eagles running attack against the Falcons run defense. So again, I'm going to run through these 2017 stats. I like to look at yards per carry. Again, I don't like to look at yards per game, because sometimes, some teams are just more run heavy, and you're going to get
it'd be inflated that way for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Very, very, very simple logic there. So Philly, 4.5 yards per carry. That was fourth in the NFL, 132.2 yards per game, third out of 32 teams. And then the Falcons, 4.1 yards per carry allowed, 19 of 32, 104.1 yards per game allowed, 9 of 32. So the yards per carry was a lot higher than the yards per game. And while some of that has to do with it's more passing attack, and teams had to kind of play from behind sometimes against the Falcons. So there's that. All right. So some numbers here, because in the divisional round, you guys did well against the Birds. 96 yards and 32 carries. I thought J.J. in that game was going to be very successful, and I was kind of wrong. I know that they were going against an 8-man box, but they still didn't do much. And this came after, if you remember the year before, they had 208 yards on 38 carries. So took 100 yards off that number there.
Yeah, I mean, I think, first of all, last year we had Dante Poe. Okay, so, he doesn't offer a whole lot in pass rush, but in run defense, that's his thing all day. So we had him. Grady Jarrett emerged a little bit more. I think Grady Jarrett's going to be the key. If we want to keep that stat pretty similar or even better, which I don't think we will, but if we do, he's going to have a big game. And the rookie, Deidre Sinnat, we drafted him, I believe, the 4th round.
That's a South Florida kid.
Yeah, out of Florida. Listen, he's actually pretty similar to Grady Jarrett, sort of short, squatty, has that same frame. Now, he's a little bit better in the run than Grady as far as, what his strength is. So if he can develop quick, which it's the first game. So I think Jack Crawford might actually be starting over him. But I think he'll be the key if we're going to be good this game.
I'm trying to – is he from South Florida? Is he from,
No, he's from South Florida, yeah.
Okay.
The Bulls or whatever it is.
Because I'm trying to think if I was getting him mixed up with somebody else. Because there's a kid from Tulane, too. That's a defensive tackle, but I don't think it's him. I think Sinat's the one from South Florida.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Okay. All right, so moving on. So the thing that happened in the game 2 years ago, Deion Jones and Devondre Campbell, they were rookies. And the Eagles were able to exploit this by running a lot of counters and misdirection plays. Because as a rookie, I mean, you're going to be a little bit more there's a liability making more mistakes and not being in your gaps and not following your gap integrity, I should say. So that happened in the first game, in 2016. But last year, they did a lot better job. Deion Jones is like a straight-up missile.
Yeah, I mean, his MO on this team is, it's always said, fast, physical, all right? You see the gap, you run to it, full speed. That's his whole thing, all right? I mean, and he's smart too. That's what makes him so lethal. He's smart and he's fast.
Yep. So we'll see what happens in the run game. There it is. It's going to come down to those linebackers, and we'll see what the offensive line can do. The offensive line, I mean, this is the Eagles' bread and butter right here. It's the run game. They're a lot better in run blocking than they are pass protection. So we'll see about that. All right, we're going to move on to your offense now. So the Falcons' pass offense against the Eagles' pass defense again running down these stats. 79.5 passer rating allowed for the Birds, 9 of 32. And a number that a lot of people like to look at last year was the 227 yards per game allowed, 17 to 32. Now, again, the logic behind this, the passer rating allowed is only ninth. And the reason why it's ninth as opposed to 17th, well, you had a lot of teams, again, playing from behind. The Eagles were just blowing teams out last year. So you're getting a lot of garbage time yardage near the end. But this Falcons offense, all right, I've got nuggets, and it's not good. You may want to cover your ears. The Falcons.
Hey, listen, I love nuggets. Come on.
I do like chicken nuggets as well. The Falcons, they led the NFL, 540 points scored 2016. That number dipped down all the way to 353 and a number 17 ranking. They moved the ball. They were third in yards per drive. They
great on third down.
Downs. You were second. But the huge drop-off came in the red zone, and that's where you were 23rd in the NFL and only a 50% touchdown rate. Matt Ryan, he goes from throwing 38 touchdowns during his MVP campaign, and he only throws 20 last year, and only 3 of them went to Julio Jones. What happened?
All right, first of all, the guy we love to hate, Steve Sarkisian, all right? I mean, it is what it is. Now I think we sort of put a little bit too high expectations, okay? If you look in the first year of what Kyle Shanahan did, it was worse statistically. Now I think he was calling better plays. It was just the issue of executing and getting to know the system. So I think we'll improve, but we'll never be as good as 2016, all right? But I think we should improve. Now, as far as Matt Ryan's play, okay, the Falcons led the league in drops. You heard me right, drops. With all these good receivers and catching running backs and tight ends, we led the league in drops. Even Julio had some critical drops. From a pure playmaking standpoint, I think Matt Ryan had a good season. He's made throws on the run and the tight coverage, things like that. But the stats weren't there to back it up. So, this year you get a lot of people saying he's overrated and whatnot. I'm like, just last year you were saying he was a top three quarterback. I mean, make your mind up. But listen, Matt Ryan's probably about the 6th best quarterback in the NFL, depending on who you ask. That's where I'd put him. But like I said, new play caller and just natural regression, really.
Yeah, and we've kind of talked about the Sarkisian thing already. It's just such vanilla play calling in the red zone. It was a huge problem last year, and I had Falcons fans all offseason telling me that the Eagles got lucky. Julio Jones slipped. I don't know about that because there wasn't a history of success all season long. There was more percentage of failure there than success in that one.
Yeah, I'll agree with that as far as that play. Now, I think the game as a whole, you guys got lucky with a couple of things, but that specific drive, the play calling was terrible. Okay, no luck was involved.
Yeah, and that's what you're going to get from Steve Sarkisian. Like I can sit here and make the argument. I told you this already. The Falcons have the most gifted offense in the NFL, but they just don't have somebody that knows how to utilize those chess pieces to their maximum potential.
Yeah, it's like, so listen, I've never had a gun before, right? If you give me an M16 and tell me to go to war, I'm gonna die. I'm dying in the first, whatever battle. But you give a trained Marine that weapon, he's killing hundreds of people, okay? Steve Sarkisian's a little kid with the M16, all right, if you want to see that as an analogy. That's how I look at it. He doesn't know what to do with it. The safety's still on. He doesn't know what to do.
Yeah, I'm with you. And, I've never been a fan of his, even in college. I even scratched my head when you even made the move. So we'll see. I think you guys are best off him going away after this year, go get a new guy. And then I think you guys could talk Super Bowl.
I wanted when Shanahan was here, I wanted the quarterbacks coach to be promoted. But
that would have been a good call.
Yep, but he went
intact.
Yeah, and but now he's with he went with Shanahan, and I want to say he got an offensive coordinator position somewhere else now. So Obviously, somebody else is going to reap the benefits of that, but it should have been us. But
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about this Atlanta passing attack and kind of how they like to play. And I think the defensive line is key here, and they're going to dictate if Julio Jones goes off or not. And here's what I mean by that. So they like to take deep shots, with play action, whether it's go routes, post routes, deep crosses over the middle of the field. So Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham, Michael Bennett, Chris Long, Derek Barnett and company, if they can pressure Ryan consistently, that obviously disrupts the timing between the two. And I think that's where the game might actually be won and lost, is right here.
Yeah, I 110% I agree with that. Now, here's the thing of where Sarkisian is going to have his sticky fingers all over this. He's going to have to start calling some screens, maybe a swing pass, I don't know, something to keep that offensive line, second guessing. Okay, we're not running any RPOs with Matt Ryan. He'll get killed, but something to keep the offensive line a little bit more honest. But don't be predictable. All right, if it's starting long and you keep running screen after screen, the Eagles aren't stupid. They just went to the Super Bowl. They're going to sniff it out, and you're going to go 3 and out, and then the defense will get tired and it'll be over. But you got to keep that defensive line honest one way or another.
Yep, absolutely. And I like your offensive line. I don't think it's bad by any means.
Yeah, it's like, we probably have about the third best offensive line. I think we have probably the second best center in all of football. It's just a matter of the Eagles' defensive line is just that good. It's a mismatch, even probably with the Cowboys' offensive line. It's just how good you guys are.
The mismatch here is you got a new right guard in Brandon Fusco.
Now, I do think that's an upgrade in the run game. In the pass game, it's probably maybe a little bit better, but it's definitely an upgrade.
But the problem here, did I say right guard or left guard? I meant left guard.
No, yeah, it was right guard. It was right guard.
No, you're right, because Andy was a left guard.
Yep.
Okay, so the reason why I bring him up, Brandon Fusco, Fletcher Cox, deep penetration.
Oh my God.
You're sweating that one out.
All right, listen. We're gonna have some oil ready. We're gonna have some oil ready for Brandon at his locker. We're gonna have something. All right, listen, but we'll have them ready, okay, for the deep penetration.
All right, here's another area where you might have success. Nigel Bradham is out with his suspension. Depth at linebacker might be felt. This was an area of trouble for the Eagles down the stretch. I
mentioned this. I did mention this.
Yeah, so this is where you look at Austin Hooper, you look at Tevin Coleman and Devontae Freeman coming out of the backfield. This is where you guys got to attack right here.
Now, this is some hope. I don't know if it was a one-off play or if Sarkisian actually has a brain. Against the Jaguars on the first drive, we had some success because he threw it to their running backs.
Oh!
No, listen. So, yeah, don't let him hit.
He's not vanilla. He's actually he's throwing some jimmies on that side of that.
Listen, there was only 2 throws to the running backs. I don't know if he just banged his head and he got out of his element. But let's hope not. But if he can expose your guys, sort of a weakness, if you will, at linebacker, that will definitely help us because in 2016 when we played the Broncos, that's how we won that game against the Broncos in 2016. That defense was still elite at that point. We used Tevin Coleman and Devontae Freeman in the passing game, and that's how we won that game.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the last facet. Unless there's – you have anything else you want to say about – actually, no, I forgot to talk about Ronald Darby in the secondary. So Ronald Darby, last year he obviously had the foot injury, and I don't think he really had that good of a season for his standards. But he's had a really good preseason. And he gets a test right away against Julio Jones. So I'm actually curious to see how he handles Julio. Because Julio always goes for 100 against the Birds. It's always 100 plus, every single time.
I think Julio could get loose. I think he could. Listen, there's probably 2 or 3 corners that could really check Julio. I think Marshawn Lattimore on a good day.
You guys are going to move him around, too.
Yeah, we're going to put him in the slot. We're gonna put him, at the X, at the Y, at the Z. I mean, hell, we ran a sweep with him last year. Okay, we'll put him in the backfield if we have to. But if it's man to man, I don't think Darby can get him, even if he is healthy. Now he might win a rep. He might knock one away, but
He
a
might
lot of
compete.
yeah, he might. I don't know. He might come in the area of maybe competing, but it's not that he's bad. It's just how good Julio is. So if we could get him one-on-one, I think we could exploit that a little bit.
I just love that he gets that test right away, and we're really going to see right now, okay, was that offseason legit? We'll see. All right.
For sure.
Yeah. Now we're going to move on to the last thing here, and it's the running attack against the run defense. Eagles were number 1 in yards per game allowed, but again, that yards per game allowed, they were first at 79.2, but they were only 6th in yards per carry allowed. So I don't want to say you can run on them because they have their strengths and weaknesses when it comes to rushing attacks. And unfortunately for you guys, they actually handle zone blocking schemes very, very well. They handled them
exactly
in the divisional round. He only had 7 yards and 10 carries. He's a great cutback runner, but when you have no cutback lanes, you're not going to get any yardage. Tevin Coleman, though, he had a lot more success. So he was kind of like bouncing runs along the perimeter, and he was finding success that way. So 79 yards on 10 carries for him in a divisional round game. But this is an area, man, it might be a little tough to gain traction. And to run the numbers on Atlanta, 4.3 yards per carry, 8th, and 115.4 yards per game, 13th last year.
Yeah, and I mean, to have this offensive line and to have these 2 running backs, that's pretty average. That's pretty average, if you ask me.
Yeah.
I love Freeman, but like you said, against the Eagles, we got to ride Tevin Coleman all the way. We should have been doing that last year, and I think we might have won that game if we did. We typically go about 60-40 with Freeman being the lead back, but this game, give them both carries early, and if we do, I think Tevin Coleman will have success, and we need to ride that success throughout the game.
Boom. So there it is. And the way to use Freeman is in the passing game, like you said. Like don't even be surprised if he doesn't run the ball a lot. Just use him in the passing game.
Yeah, I mean, have him guessing, right? Put him in the backfield, motion him out wide. You know the drill.
Yeah, do a little bit of everything. All right. This is where we're going to get to some predictions on the game. So you're going to pick the Falcons to win, aren't you?
Come on, man. I got to. I got to. Okay, I got to do it. I got them winning. You want to score now, or you want to save it later? What you want to do?
Yeah, we're going to do it right now.
All right, I'll say I got the Falcons winning. I'd say 20-17.
Okay. All right. I got the Eagles winning 24-20. That's what I got. So I think they're going to attack the middle of the field again. Like I talked about the tight ends and Aguilar.
Right.
I think this is where they might find some success. We'll see if the offensive line can keep Nick Foles upright. I think that's the key to the game is protecting him. If he's got the rhythm and he's on fire and he's on point, I think the Eagles are going to win this game.
Hey, if all those things happen, I agree. You guys will win. I think some keys for us. All right, we got to get a pass rush on him, on Foles.
Yeah, that's the number one thing you need to do.
The key for that, the touche, if you will, it's got to probably be with a 4-man front. All right, that's going to be hard against the Eagles, but if we can do it, that's going to be a big step in winning this game for us. And offensively, listen, we got to get the running backs involved in the passing game, like you said. Try and get those linebackers matched on them up on them out wide in the passing game, and use that to convert those third downs.
I agree with you. You got to rush with 4 because the more people you drop back, that makes it harder to make the middle of the field open. So that's what I got to rush with 4. Anything else you want to get into in this game? We never really got into Sidney Jones. Sidney Jones is a hot topic here in Philly.
I honestly completely forgot about him. Yeah. So he's starting, right? So he's starting for sure.
He's going to be the slot.
Oh, okay.
He's going to be the nickel.
All right, so
you're going to have Jalen Mills and Darby as the outside guys.
Okay.
And Jones, who has never been a slot guy before, for this offseason, is going to be in slot.
All right, listen. If Sarkisian is doing his homework, quick question: does Jalen Mills still bite on double moves or no?
Oh, they all bite on double moves.
Okay, then. Okay, we worked with something. I
Those
mean,
snuggos. You gotta do some
li-
snuggos.
exactly. So I mean, listen. Listen. That's another advantage for us. All right. Listen, Calvin Ridley. Yeah, he's a rookie, but he's like what, 24 years old. He's
Yeah.
experienced. He's a great route runner, great speed. I think he'll be in the slot some. Sanu will be in the slot some. I think both of those matchups. I think Sidney Jones will be a good player, but week one against these receivers, I think that could be a matchup we could take advantage of just a little bit.
Okay. He did have a good preseason. It is only preseason. I'm curious to see
Yeah.
how he handles his debut.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping the preseason's not any indication because we scored like 0 points in the first game. So let's just
Oh,
let's just get it Thursday and see what
well,
happens.
well, if you think your offense has been ugly,
Trust me, I was watching the Eagles. Oh, I saw Nick Foles. I saw his true colors. That
well,
dang rat.
I don't know if those are his, I don't know what his true colors are at this
I
point.
mean,
I think I know, but then when I think I know, I don't know.
so you're telling me 1 minute Matt Ryan's the MVP, the next he's overrated. So I don't know what his true colors are either, but we'll find out Thursday.
Yeah, it's huge game, and if you want to potentially get home field advantage throughout the playoffs, this
Yeah, for week one, this has a lot of implications down the line.
Absolutely. So there it is. All right, I'll ask you this before we depart. So NFC South predictions. What are you thinking?
Listen, I got to go Falcons 1. They're going to win the division. I think they split with everybody, but they just win one more game than the Saints. They'll be at 11-5. The Saints will be at 10-6. The Panthers will be at about 9-7, 8-8, and the Bucks. Listen, the Bucks are lunch, okay? And everybody else in the division is coming to eat. All right. So I don't know. They might go 1-15 if they're lucky.
I think I have him in
One. I'll say 1-15 with a side of crab legs.
There you go. I think I have like 5-11 for them. I don't remember off the top of my head, but it's not good, obviously. So the only difference there for me is I got New Orleans on top.
Yeah, and listen, I totally understand that.
Yeah,
because they have consistent.
They're basically the same, just one game different.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
there it is.
So why do you have them above us? I'm assuming it's because the offensive play calling, but
yeah, I just have more faith in them. I like the tandem and the fact that they run the ball more now, so it gives them a little bit more versatility offensively. The defense has gotten better. I mean, I know Atlanta's defense is actually it's sneaky good. People don't realize.
Yeah, I believe we're top 10 in scoring. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so it's a sneaky good defense, and they're making improvements there. The reason why I like the Saints too, their defense reminds me of when they won it all. Not that they were the best, but they created turnovers, and that's how they win football games. So they try to outscore you, and then they turn the ball over.
Listen, if you're right about that, the draft pick of Marshawn Lattimore is going to be the sole reason because he picked Matt Ryan off in both games last year.
Yeah. I think he's a stud.
Oh, he absolutely is. I mean, that first game, I think he surprised Julio a little bit, but he picked us off twice. The second game, it was a little on his freaking butt cheeks, crazy, but he is a stud.
Yeah. So there it is. If you had Kyle Shanahan, I'd have you winning the division. Probably, maybe even winning the Super Bowl.
Listen to me, sir. Sir, listen to me. If we had Kyle Shanahan, we'd be going on our second ring right now, okay? At home.
I was a Kyle Shanahan guy. I was. But unfortunately, now you got the Sark.
Moment of silence real quick for that offense, I mean.
Okay.
All right, and then screw that shit, all right.
All right, that's about it here behind enemy lines. You got any final thoughts? Anything else you want to get into that I may have slipped on?
Slipped on. You got some oil on the floor, banana peels. What are you talking about? Listen. I mean, like I said, it's going to be a big game for both teams. Implications down the line. establishing who's the best bird, who's going to shit on who. So we'll see. It's going to be a great game.
All right, there it is. Follow your channel. Follow you. Tell us
Absolutely.
where you can find you, and even on Twitter.
All right, YouTube channel, Falcons Fury. All right, listen. Sorry about the upload. School's a bitch. So I'll upload some more when we get into the season. I might put out a preview for the game tonight, or I might just send some guys over here from Twitter. But I'll definitely be doing a post game.
Actually, if you get, I can send this file to you, and you can actually upload this on your channel if you want.
Yeah, sure. Actually, yeah, that'd be great.
Okay.
So I'll look out for that. And I'll do a post game review of the game, win, lose, or draw. I'm not going to run away.
Yeah.
And you can, so that's the YouTube. On Twitter, you can follow me at slim_gator. A little bit more college stuff over there. I like college ball as well. So if you're interested in that, give me a follow.
There it is. All right. That was a tremendous breakdown. That was good stuff.
Yes, sir. Hey, you too. You know your stuff, man.
Absolutely. All right. There it is. That's Falcons Fury. I'm Adrian Fedku. Take care, all.
Peace.